opposite side of the fence. My father was a police officer, and he was a Michigan State Police. I was born in Michigan, and then we moved down to Fort Lauderdale when I was 3, and he was a Fort Lauderdale cop. And my life growing up, I spent a lot of time in the police station, just hanging out, watching, going on ride-alongs. My life was mapped out. It was going to be, I finished high school, join the police academy, become a cop, have the 2.5 kids, the white picket fence, retire and die. I didn't know that there was another option. I hated school. I was a terrible student. I was a C- student in high school. And 3 weeks, so I had a date to join the police academy, but 3 weeks before I graduated high school, my father died in the line of duty in a plane crash, and it just turned my world upside down. And I didn't know what was what, because everything was mapped out, and now I didn't want to do any of it. So had no clue what I wanted to do. I just knew I didn't want to be a cop anymore. So I ended up getting into an investment banking training program. Didn't even know that was a thing. And I was in investment banking for 10 years, all of the 90s. And there was a guy who sat next to me at the firm. His best friend was an expat working in Bangkok. So whenever he used to come over and visit, we used to always hang out, drinks and dinner, and we became really close. And he always used to tell me to come visit him. And I was like, I work 90 hours a week. I can't take a 24-hour flight. Like, the math doesn't work out. So in January of 1999, it was a Friday. I'll never forget this day. They came out of the office and said, we just sold the firm, and half the firm resigned, including myself. That guy called me the next morning on Saturday, and he's like, you have no job, come and visit me. And I bought a 2-week ticket, left the next day. After 4 days, I called my mother. I was like, I'm never coming home. I love this place. And she sent my things, and I ended up living in Bangkok for 11 years. So I was there very early, before all this stuff. Really got acclimated and partied my butt off all over Asia, and really made a lot of friends all over. And really, it's a different planet in Asia. So, getting used to that after growing up in the States was a big transition. So when social media came out, if you've never been to Asia, whatever you think social media is here, over there, it's like on steroids. I don't know if people know this, but the first 3 or 4 years that Instagram was in existence, the most Instagram place on the planet was Bangkok.
No.
And I was there for all of it. It was incredible. So anyway, Twitter was my first go-to, and that happened to be a place where all the PR people were at. That's where all the wine people were at. That's where I met Sarah. And I was very early on Twitter. I was probably first 2,000-3,000 people on Twitter. And I didn't know it, but I was building a personal brand. Personal brand wasn't a word back then. Influencers weren't a word back then. Like, there wasn't an exchange for a post for a hotel room stay. Like, none of that, because social media was very immature back then. So on a whim, I started a digital agency, just because I come from the sales world and marketing. Like, I was already friends with a lot of hotel people, so it was just it just felt right. Turned out to be the first digital agency in Asia, and we were the biggest for 5 years. And we had 27 clients in the first 3 weeks, and all my clients were hotels. So it was sort of like on-the-job training in the most aggressive manner possible. It was crazy.
But that's when, like, there were no, probably now it's like, there's a rule for this platform, a rule for that. Correct. And I think I know I get caught up in it, not to imply that it was easy. I just mean that, to me, is like, man, it was probably so much more fun to learn it that way, when you didn't have to worry about. Right.
There was no roadmap.
You created it.
Yeah, I mean, I had to educate the market. I had to deliver results. So that made me. So everybody sees what I have now, and he has a big audience. He's just an influencer. Like, I have been laser focused on ROI from day one because I was on the agency side. And on the agency side, that's all that matters.